Greetings, fellow Simmers. Have you ever dreamed of sending your Sims back to a time of knights, castles, and questionable hygiene? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into my favorite tips to turn your Sims 4 gameplay into a full-blown medieval adventure. So, ditch those smartphones and electric stoves because it's time to go medieval. Let's dive in. Alro, remember that those are tips from simmer to simmer, not any a sensible treatise by a historian. Let's start with pregnancy, because what's medieval life without a little chaos in the family tree? Back in the Middle Ages, pregnancies weren't exactly a choose-your-own-adventure deal. So, I've tweaked the chance of pregnancy in my game to 25% for both regular woohoo and try for baby. This keeps things unpredictable, just like in the olden days, without overloading my Sims with infants. It's all about that balance. Babies are a possibility, but not a guarantee. Because, let's face it, even medieval cottages can't handle too many cradles. Speaking of babies, contraception in the Middle Ages wasn't exactly reliable. In my game, it adds a layer of realism where contraception isn't 100% effective, just like back then. Historically, they had methods like fish bladders or herbal remedies. Even my Sim use condoms from mods. I just roleplay that they use some kind of herbs or something from medieval birth control options. Most of my Sims go raw anyway, usually bards, medics and wise women know how to prevent pregnancy. And remember, a little unpredictability makes for a lot of fun. Let's take a darker turn, unwanted pregnancies and medieval solutions. History tells us that abortions weren't uncommon, but they were risky. In my gameplay, I've customized the Littlesims mod to fit medieval times. Abortions are now priced as herbal remedies rather than modern clinic visits. It costs my Sims 20 simoleons. For added drama, roll a dice to decide if the procedure goes. A touch of medieval risk adds even more tension to your storyline. But hey, whether your Sim survives or not, that's up to fate, and a lucky roll. Let's move on to food. Nothing screams medieval like hearty soups and stews. Your peasant Sims can stick to simple fish-based stews, while the nobles feast on roasted meats and decadent desserts. Back then people, or most of them, eaten much less meat than we eat today. Cuisine definitely depended more on the region. You should decide what kinds of ingredients are in your Sims region. Or decide it by which seafoods I will find. It's all about social class. The peasants get one-pot meals, and the nobles? Full-on banquets with lewd players in the background. Give your Sims a taste of the Middle Ages, literally. What's medieval life without entertainment? No TikTok, no Netflix, just good old-fashioned bards, jesters, and musicians. For nobles, I hire Sims as performers to liven up dinner parties. For commoners, I set up a lute in the town square and roleplay street performances. My noble Sims are all about hiring musicians and comedians, aka bards and jesters, to liven up their lavish dinner parties. It's all about that medieval luxury, baby. And hey, if a little bit of medieval karaoke is involved, so be it. For the common folk, though, it's a little more DIY. I set up a guitar, aka lute, in the town square and toss my Sims 100 simoleons or so to hire a musician. But, I roleplay it like the musician wasn't even hired by my Sim. That's why I give my Sim money back. They just happen to be passing by, strumming away for the sheer joy of it, and the hope that someone might toss a few coins their way. It's like a medieval street performance, the hustle is real. Whether your Sims are throwing coins to a bard or hosting a lavish ball, entertainment is the key to medieval immersion. Contrary to popular belief, medieval folks did bathe. Wooden tubs, rivers, and public bathhouses were the norm. So, make sure your Sims keep clean, even if their baths are a bit rustic. Mostly outside home, but since I'm lazy I usually just give them bathtub at home. And yes, Sims will age, just like in real medieval times. Life was shorter, but people still grew old. Let your Sims embrace their wrinkles and continue their medieval adventures well into elderhood. Let's clear up medieval myth. No, women weren't just sitting at home with a baby on one hip and a pot of stew on the fire, though that did happen too. Medieval women worked, and they worked hard. Whether they were tending crops, running market stalls, brewing beer, or even managing businesses, women had jobs just like the men. Sure, the roles might have varied depending on their social status, but they were definitely not just medieval stay-at-home moms. In my Sims medieval world, I make sure my female Sims mostly have a job. Noble women are exception. The truth is, women back then didn't have much choice not to work. Life was tough, and everyone had to pitch in to make ends meet. So, forget the stereotype of the idle medieval wife. My female Sims are just as busy as the men / So, in your gameplay, don't hesitate to give your female Sims jobs, businesses, or tasks. Let them show off their skills and remind everyone that women have always been part of the workforce, long before modern office jobs were a thing. Now, let's talk mods. To create your own medieval world, I've put together a mod list packed with essentials, from period-accurate clothing to rustic stoves and lute-playing musicians. Check out the link in the description to download them all and start building your medieval masterpiece. Trust me, this mod list is the ultimate cheat sheet for anyone looking to bring the Middle Ages to life in Sims 4. And there you have it, Simmers, my top tips for creating a medieval Sims 4 experience. From rustic recipes to unpredictable pregnancies, there's no shortage of chaos and charm to be had. If you try out any of these tips, let me know in the comments how your medieval world is shaping up. Until next time, happy simming, and may your peasants prosper and your nobles thrive. Bye for now.